It's so much more complex than people realize from start to finish of all of the things that happen. And it's really not set up in a, I would say, a positive way as far as the lender is always the one carrying the liability from beginning to end to get it sold, to keep their margins where they need to be profitable. There's so many things that can come along that, like, let's say the appraisal comes in low, or you've always got to do a profile change. Anytime anything changes in there, it can then change the margins. And so
Are y'all selling these one off or y'all tranching them out and in groups?
that, honestly, I don't know that enough about the secondary side to tell you. What I do is when I go in there, I've got my 10 different investors I'm looking at, and I'm picking the one with the best
So
rate.
you're the one as the lending officer actually picking the ones and
Yes.
saying, I'm assigning it to this guy.
However, that
And
doesn't mean
is that when you lock it in?
yes.
Oh,
That doesn't
that's
mean
so
that's who it's
interesting.
that doesn't mean
Of
that's who it's
course.
getting sold to, though.
Right. You're saying, hey, I'm committing to this guy right here. Now it could go to somebody else, but at least
But this is what I'm locking in and at.
Okay.
And you got the difference between your best efforts locks and your mandatory lock. And again, that's a whole secondary piece that is like way over my head that I never did secondary. All I ever did, I did processing and then was a loan officer. But the secondary market, managing that, like that's a whole other ball game. That's like really over my head.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm such a geek.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. I can think a lot of people that you could nerd out with on understanding all that and how they look at the market, and the market's changing. So should we move this to a different investor and like all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so y'all can actually change that after the fact of moving it to whatever investor.
Yeah.
And so it's fun because the consumer doesn't get to see all those
No, they
angles.
don't. And that's what I think is so interesting too, that I wish people really understood. I mean, I feel like we work so hard to help them and try to help them strategize, get them approved. That doesn't mean you're going to closing.
No, we had, when I was 19 years old, we had a huge experience with the national, one of the big 4 or 5. They gave us approval letter, but they didn't pull everything. And then we ran into problems and it ended up costing us